Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism. I'm back with another video for you. A hilarious video, if I may say so myself. When I saw this in the news yesterday, I saw it on the Verge website, and at first, I thought that the site must be like The Onion. I thought it was satire. But to my surprise, it is actually supposed to be real. People actually believe this nonsense. It's scary, sad, frustrating, depressing, and really goes to show the hatchet job that has been done on the minds of the world population. They will believe anything the news throws up there. Wow. So let's read this news piece quickly, and I ask you politely, please don't laugh. All right, we're on the site theverge.com. Japanese spacecraft successfully touches down on asteroid, grabbing a sample of dust. This is from February 21st, 2019. Around 200 million miles away from Earth. Yeah, 200 million miles. If you were going 60 miles per hour in a car, it would take you, 140,000 days to get there, 380 years. Yeah. Anyway, around 200 million miles away from Earth, a Japanese spacecraft just grabbed a tiny sample of dirt off the surface of an asteroid. The second time humanity has ever pulled off such a feat. The precious samples are destined to come back to Earth, where they'll be analyzed by scientists. This scrutiny could tell us a great deal about the chemical makeup of these rocks, as well as what materials were present in the early days of the solar system. The spacecraft in possession of this newly acquired asteroid material is the Hayabusa2, operated by JAXA. It's the successor to JAXA's original Hayabusa mission, which was the first to return samples of an asteroid to Earth in 2010. Launched in 2014, Hayabusa2 traveled through space for 3.5 years, arriving at an asteroid named Ryugu in June 2018. Here's the hilarious part about the name Ryugu. It actually means an underwater palace in Japanese folklore. Can't make that stuff up. Ever since then, Hayabusa2 has been hanging around Ryugu, analyzing its surface and practicing for today's big grab. You can see some Twitter nonsense here. Late last night, the spacecraft fired its engine, initiating the vehicle's slow descent to Ryugu's surface. Then, when Hayabusa was hovering just above the asteroid, it tapped a horn-like appendage onto the ground. As soon as that happened, a bullet-like projectile within the horn shot outward, stabbing the asteroid and creating a bunch of dust and fragments. If all went well, some of those fragments fed up into the horn and gathered inside a little chamber inside the spacecraft. Now, Hayabusa2 will hold on to that material until it leaves Ryugu and returns to Earth. And when these samples arrive at our planet, they could tell us a bit more about what our cosmic neighborhood was like billions of years ago. From a scientific perspective, it's going back to the dawn of the solar system. Dante Loretta, the principal investigator for NASA's asteroid sample return mission OSIRIS-REx, who has worked with the Hayabusa team, tells The Verge, these asteroids are the first rocks that formed around the sun before the planets existed. Oh my goodness. Hayabusa2 is hoping to bring back between 10 and 100 milligrams for study. Wait a second. Time out. Are you freaking kidding me? This has to be some sort of joke. A United States dime weighs 2.3 grams, and the sample that they hope to return is 100 milligrams. 100 milligrams equals 0.1 grams. 0.1. That's 1/23rd of a U.S. dime in weight. This tiny little sliver of a dime? How can anyone believe this nonsense? This little sliver of an asteroid will tell us about the universe and how it came into being billions of years ago? I mean, Globers must be so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. Look, I put a dime and this tiny little rock on a scale and I get 2.8. So that little rock is 5 times more than they hope to bring back from this asteroid. Oh, that can't be faked at all. Totally impossible to fake that. It's embarrassing. However, it's not clear exactly how much sample material the spacecraft scooped up. JAXA doesn't have a way to measure how much material Hayabusa2 collected. Oh, they don't have a way to measure that, but they can communicate and do whatever they need with this satellite that's 200 million miles away. What a joke. However, the agency says that every maneuver went according to plan and the Hayabusa2 issued the command to shoot its bullet as expected. That makes them all but certain that the spacecraft has some samples in its belly. In fact, the original Hayabusa was able to get a sample from its asteroid, Itokawa, even though its bullet projectile failed. We'll skip a little bit here, some nonsense. To make sure the sample grab went as smoothly as possible, JAXA did multiple dress rehearsals during which they lowered the spacecraft very close to the spot on Ryugu where the team wanted to grab a sample. Hayabusa2 even deployed 2 tiny rovers onto the surface of the asteroid in September to collect data about its environment. The terrain of Ryugu turned out to be much rockier than JAXA imagined, and so the mission team decided to do some extra tests to make sure everything would still work. The abundance of caution meant delaying the scheduled sampling date from October until today. And well, you know me, I took this image over to photo forensics to see what we get, and wow. What a mess. Further down we see now that Hayabusa2 has grabbed its sample, it's possible it will get another one in the months ahead. The spacecraft is carrying essentially a small cannon that it can use to impact the surface of Ryugu, exposing rocks deeper within the asteroid. Hayabusa2 could then lower down and grab another sample from within that crater. However, experts at JAXA have not decided if that will actually happen. Hayabusa2 is slated to leave Ryugu sometime late this year. We'll skip a little bit forward. If all goes well, that means 2 different asteroid samples will be headed back to Earth in the years ahead, and these pieces could hold clues about the early history of the solar system and even our own planet. Scientists believe that some of the earliest building blocks of life, such as carbon, hydrogen, and other organic materials, may have come to Earth on ancient asteroids. Finding this material on the rocks circling our solar system could mean that life is possible in other worlds nearby. Wow. The likelihood that there is life on the subsurface of Mars or in the oceans of Europa or Titan becomes much higher, says Loretta, if the basic chemistry was ubiquitous in the early solar system and not unique to the Earth. What a load of garbage. All right, and if we scroll up a little, we can click through to the Twitter account for Hayabusa, counting down its descent. Of course, the scientists are listening for a tone because they see nothing but CGI and data on a computer screen. So hard to fake that. We get these little images and even a chart, so it's got to be real. Plus, if it tweets, it's got to be real. I mean, we know these things. All right, and if we go here, we can see the profile image of this little fraud spacecraft. Pay attention to the shadow underneath it. That will be important later. We see that it has nearly 50,000 followers. If we click through to the site, we can see their website, not in English, but we can see some images of the control room and a bunch of scientists celebrating their dime of dirt. Well worth the $150 to $200 million price tag for this mission. And if you want to hear something extremely dumb, according to Wikipedia, this half-mile diameter asteroid in the sky is worth $82.5 billion worth of mining. I mean, that's embarrassing if anyone actually believes this scam. Let's head over to hayabusa.jaxa.jp to the English site. There we can scroll down to see these, fantastic, great, real images of this asteroid. Look at how amazing, how impressive is technology today. Unbelievable. You can just scroll back up here and hit galleries, and you'll see there's a few boxes here. You can click another one of these. The first one we've already looked at. Look at some of these other ones from past days, a few months ago, and look at the images there too. This must be real. Absolutely amazing. I'm awestruck. Yeah, it's simply incredible, as Jay Tolan Media would say. And what mission would be complete without some CGI? Look at this. Notice the spinning CGI asteroid on the right. That will take a graphic designer about 10 to 20 minutes to create. Look at the craft 200 million miles away, lowering ever so gently, squirting its RCS thrusters. And you know it has to be real because channels like Astronomy Live can actually replicate these movements. Wow. Look at this stuff. It's unbelievable. Look at the laser technology at play and the radar. Man, running off the solar wings. The science is simply incredible. And don't forget to look at the shadow of the craft. This is its signature move, the shadow that makes the world so proud. We can see its cannon blast the rocks below in hopes of getting that 1/23rd worth of a dime. Man, this is crazy. This way we can learn all about the billions of years that have gone by. I mean, that's what this little sample will bring back. I think that the sample, if it's big enough, can actually tell us what kind of apple Adam and Eve ate. So it's going to be incredible data coming back from this craft. We've got some very excited Japanese scientists celebrating here with Mr. Potato Head. Man, this is just what an accomplishment, really, They landed a craft on an asteroid on their computer screens. Amazing what monitors will show. Oh, also in similar news, an Italian guy ate a mushroom today and grew nearly 3 times his size, but he later disappeared down a pipe, so no one's been able to see him after that. All right, and these guys here are driving the craft through their little computer screens. Absolutely amazing. I also took each of the images that we saw earlier, and I made a little time lapse as the craft approached. Oh man, graphics like this might take Irulanducci 15 minutes to replicate, maybe 20. Amazing technology. But of course, these images are real. Images of an asteroid 250 million miles away. I can't get Wi-Fi if I walk to my front lawn, but the Japanese are amazing. And here we can see the signature shadow that I mentioned earlier. Man, proof that this thing is real right there in black and white. I also tried to zoom in a little further to see what I could see, but all I found were the rover's tracks. So that doesn't get us very far, does it? I was also thinking that they really should redo the driving test in this country. Right now there's a lot of useless questions like double yellow lines and construction zones and other non-important info. I narrowed it down to just 3 questions. Let's see how we do together. Number 1, do you believe men have been to the moon? Well, no. Okay, that's easy. Do you believe Japan landed on an asteroid? Well, no. That's easy. And did you ever believe the story of Jussie Smollett? No. Now I enter here. All right. Congratulations. I'm now able to drive an automobile. See, that's an pretty easy test, huh? I don't know what would have happened if we would have answered differently. Let's go back here. Do you believe men have been to the moon? No. Do you believe Japan landed on an asteroid? No. Did you ever believe the story of Jussie Smollett? Let's go ahead and answer yes, just to see what happens. I'll hit enter, and oh, fail. Damn, what's this? Oh, no. I guess if you get one of them wrong, then you are only allowed to drive a tricycle with adult supervision and a helmet. So be careful on your next driving test. Yes, this world is in deep trouble. Did you watch the SpaceX launch yesterday? Well, they landed on a barge, and even though we got images of the Hayabusa from 200 million miles away, SpaceX again struggled to keep a video feed from 200 miles offshore. Only 1 million times closer. Let's watch this landing. Oh man, I'm so tense. Oh, celebratory. Show me. Oh, there it is. Wow. So challenging. 200 miles off the shore.
And we also got confirmation of stage 2 in good orbit.
Yes, stage 2 is in orbit. I love this stuff. Now listen to her here. This is nonsense. This is supposed to be releasing this Israeli moon rover.
We've got confirmation
Listen.
of separation.
Oh, confirmation of separation. Look at the screen. Nothing's happening. Nothing has been separated. The craft sits there. Let's see. Where's the separation, lady? Waiting.
You can see that there on your screen.
No, I kind of can see nothing. Try again. What's separated? Your fake Earth there, or what? I don't understand. The bright light. Explain to me what's going on here. There's nothing moving. Nothing separated.
It's a little bit bright there because of the sun, so it's very difficult to see separation there.
Difficult to see what? What are you talking about? What's separating? Nothing is moving at all, except for the fake Earth.
But we've had a successful deployment of the Space IL lunar lander.
Oh, because you said so.
The first non-governmental lander to make its way to the moon.
Yeah, so when that thing lands on the moon, watch everybody believe it. Unbelievable. And watch this here. This is great. People can't even see that this is in slow motion. Look at the time. I didn't slow this down. This is what they show people that's happening in real time. Oh my goodness. People can't even decipher slow motion technology that's being done in some sort of test facility, in some sort of warehouse. Wow. And just so you know, it wasn't me who put that music behind there. That was actually from the SpaceX webcast. Unbelievable. And just think, if Hubble can see 79 sextillion miles, then why can't it see a spacecraft only 200 million miles away? That's 396 trillion times closer. Well, it's a trick above all tricks and nonsense beyond all nonsense. And why wouldn't they employ it, since people will believe it? This Hubble telescope we have can see 13.2 billion light years away, but we can't make a telescope that sees 396 trillion times closer. Your eye can see stars easily at night, a minimum of 25 trillion miles away, but we have no telescope that has ever seen a star as anything but a point of light.
Stars, like our sun, are much brighter and bigger than the Earth. but only a handful have, even with our best technology, been resolved as anything larger than just a single point. From 1,000th of a light year away, our own sun would look like every other star in the sky, a single point to the naked eye.
Yes, the telescope that can see this many miles, and your eye can see this many miles easily, that's the closest star. But the telescope that can see this far can't even see things 3.168 billion times closer as anything but a point of light, even though a star like VY Canis Majoris is said to be 1,800 times bigger than the sun. Even though it's so monumentally ridiculous and obviously not based in reality, people will believe it because science supposedly says so. I say nonsense. Just look at these so-called images of stars they say have been resolved beyond a point of light. First off, half the images don't even exist, and the others are nothing but exactly that. Points of light. No rotation, no nothing. It's just a trick. But feel free to believe what you want. Believe in Hayabusa2. Believe that they can tell you how the universe formed from 1/27th of a US dime. Believe it all you want, and I'll continue to believe it's all nonsense. I remind you to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace!